Top funniest gaming moments of all time. Video games have been a source of entertainment and joy for many years, providing players with thrilling gameplay, compelling storylines, and breathtaking visuals. While many games are known for their serious themes and dramatic moments, many games have made us laugh out loud with their humor and wit. From silly glitches to clever writing and hilarious cutscenes, gaming has provided us with some of the funniest moments in pop culture. In this article, we will explore some of the top funniest gaming moments of all time, which have brought joy and laughter to gamers around the world. So sit back, relax, and get ready to revisit some of the most memorable and side-splitting moments in gaming history. 10. Find the Doll's Head, Poppy Playtime. One of the funniest moments in Poppy Playtime is when the player character, a janitor, must find and collect all the missing heads of the Poppy Playtime dolls. As the player collects each head, the dolls' bodies become more and more comically disfigured, with mismatched body parts and awkward poses. This adds a touch of dark humor to the game's overall horror theme. Another funny moment in the game is when the player character discovers a room full of discarded, broken Poppy Playtime dolls. The dolls' limbs are flailing around in a chaotic manner, which can be both creepy and amusing at the same time. Overall, Poppy Playtime has several moments of dark humor that balance out the game's horror elements and provide some comedic relief for players. 9. Nina's car being destroyed. Saints Row. The Saints Row reboot had some big shoes to fill, but didn't live up to the standards set by past games in the series. It didn't help that the main cast was utterly forgettable, leading to their emotional moments ringing quite hollow. A great example of this is during the mission Nina's Car, where players strive to save their friend's precious automobile from being destroyed only to fail at the last second. Watching the car fall in slow motion as Nina screams in despair shouldn't be funny, and yet it's one of the few moments where the game makes the player laugh. The insurance fraud mini-game. In this mini-game, the player character must throw themselves into oncoming traffic and other hazards to rack up as much injury and property damage as possible. The game's physics engine makes for some ridiculous and comical moments as the character is launched into the air and ragdolls around. 8. During the Custom Night mode. Five Nights at Freddy's series. One of the funniest moments in the series is in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, during the Custom Night mode. The player can adjust the AI difficulty levels of the animatronics, and if they set them all to 0, the animatronics will become completely unresponsive and the night will be a cakewalk. However, upon completing the night, the player is greeted with a humorous ending where the animatronics congratulate the player on their excellent job and even offer them a job as a security guard. Another funny moment in the series is in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, during the minigame where the player character is a child who must collect cupcakes while avoiding the animatronics. If the player collects all the cupcakes without getting caught, they are rewarded with a humorous cutscene of the animatronics performing at a silly dance party. In Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, there is a scene where the player character, who is a technician, must repair a broken animatronic. However, the animatronic is revealed to be a hand puppet, and the technician must awkwardly fumble around trying to fix it. Overall, the Five Nights at Freddy's series has several moments of dark humor that balance out the game's horror elements and provide some comedic relief for players. 7. Sonic kissing a human. Sonic the Hedgehog. In PT, there is a puzzle where the player must find and interact with specific objects in a certain order to progress. One of the objects is a bag that appears to be breathing heavily. When the player interacts with the bag, a jump scare occurs and a voice whispers, "I said look behind you." If the player turns around to look behind them, nothing happens. However, if they turn back around to face the bag is revealed to be a human head, and the game over the screen is shown. Another humorous moment can occur during the talking bag puzzle, where the player must speak into the microphone on their controller to progress. If the player says something unexpected or silly into the microphone, such as a joke or a song, the bag in the game may respond with an unexpected and humorous reply. 6. Titus and Unit pretend laughing. Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X Titus laugh. When Yuna has to embark on her deadly pilgrimage, Titus decides to cheer her up by forcing her to laugh. This leads to an infamous video game scene that has been taken out of context over and over again. Regardless, seeing Titus yell out the fakest of laughs never ceases to be entertaining. It might be to lift Yuna's spirits up during a moment when the pressure of her task is getting to her, but players won't really care since they'll be too busy guffawing at Titus' tomfoolery. Another funny moment is when Titus is surprised to learn that Yuna has never whistled before, and he tries to teach her using various methods, including blowing on her hands, pursing her lips, and even making silly faces. Yuna struggles to understand how to whistle, and the resulting interactions between Titus and Yuna are both endearing and humorous. Another funny moment in the game is during the Blitzball tournament, where Titus and his team compete against other teams in a water-based sport. During one of the matches, the character Waka accidentally hits himself in the head with a blitzball, causing him to pass out and fall into the water. The other characters' reactions to the incident are comical, and it adds a moment of levity to the game's more serious themes. 5. Trish's death. Devil May Cry. Dante and Trish from Devil May Cry. Trish is a character from Devil May Cry who makes her presence known across the series. However, there was a moment in the first game when everyone assumed that she had been sent to an early grave. This leads to Danny yelling out in anguish and saying a line that has gone down in the annals of video game history for being one of the most hilarious voice actor moments of all time. Hearing Drew Coombs' voice crack at the end of this sentence, only to echo over and over again, is genuinely side-splitting content. 4. Ethan yelling out to find Jason. Heavy Rain. Jason Mars talking with Ethan Mars in Heavy Rain in the Mall. Quantic Dream games have a habit of making tense moments pretty funny, albeit unintentionally so. A great example of this is during the very start of Heavy Rain. After losing Jason in a mall, players control Ethan as he frantically tries to find his child, yelling out Jason constantly in the process. The frequency of this yelling makes the scene way more hilarious than intended, even with the tragic events that follow. 3. Chris punching a boulder to save Shiva. Resident Evil 5. Chris Redfield punching a boulder in Resident Evil 5. There was a time when Resident Evil had shaken away its horror roots to focus solely on over-the-top action. This led to the advent of the infamous boulder punching scene in Resident Evil 5. This moment is supposed to be a critical one for Chris Redfield, trying as hard as possible to save Shiva inside a burning volcano. This leads to him pushing and punching a boulder to form a platform, which is such a ridiculous moment that players can't help but laugh. 2. Spider-Man face-planting while trying to save a hostage. Spider-Man 3. The restrained woman in Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man has enjoyed his fair share of video games, although not all of them have been particularly impressive. Spider-Man 3 tries to do some things right, although its QTE moments can be pretty funny. Perhaps the most hilarious QTE fail in the series comes when Spider-Man tries to save a hostage who's tied to a bomb, only to faceplant in dramatic fashion. Seeing the hostage just accept her death there, and then shouldn't be hilarious in the slightest, yet has become one of the most iconic video game moments of all time, just for its sheer unintended hilarity. 1. JC Denton finding a bomb. Deus Ex. The front cover of the original Deus Ex shows JC Denton looking up at a light beaming down. Deus Ex is one of the greatest immersive sim titles of all time. It also features a protagonist who delivers his lines in such a dry manner that many of the game's serious moments end up becoming quite funny. A great example of this is when JC finds a bomb in his helicopter, with his pilot discovering the same. The stilted manner in which JC exclaims "a bomb" is so comical that it has become one of the most iconic moments in the entire game. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.